Hello everybody. Today I'll show you how to replace all four spark plugs on a 2016 Chevy Cruze Limited LT. So here are all the tools that you'll need for the job, along with the four spark plugs and the spark plug boot grease. I also used a car vacuum cleaner to clean the spark plug area after removing the coil boot. Okay, so first disconnect the car's negative battery terminal with a 10mm socket to cut off power. Ensure the negative terminal doesn't touch the negative battery post again by securing it in a safe location. Alright, so next use a flathead screwdriver to gently pry off the engine cap. Just slide it under the twist lightly. The back part can be a bit tricky, so be careful when removing it. Okay, so now before removing the T30 screws, you need to disconnect the electrical connector between the coil and the wiring. This step can be a little bit challenging, but first what you need to do is slide out the small pink and purple plastic tab, and so this unlocks the connector. Just carefully use a flathead screwdriver to slowly pry off the connector off the top, bottom, and middle, and do it once again. Take your time and be gentle to avoid breaking any brittle plastic pieces. And then once the connection is off, check for and clean out any dirt or debris inside to ensure a good connection later. Now that the coil is disconnected, you can remove the T30 screws using a T30 bit adapter and a wrench. Once the screws are loose, you could carefully finish removing them with your hands or your fingers. Once the screws are out, gently pull the coil boot out of the engine. It should come off easily. Try pulling from the middle for an even removal. After that, check the metal springs inside each boot for rust or corrosion. Mine were in good shape, but if yours aren't, it's a good idea to replace them. Next, use the vacuum cleaner inversely to blow air into each spark plug hole to clear out any debris and ensure nothing falls into the combustion chamber. Now with a 5/8 socket and wrench, carefully remove the spark plug. You might hear a squealing sound if it's been a long time and is rusted or corroded. Once loosened, just gently take it out by hand. As you're going to see, mine was quite corroded, so I'm glad that I was able to change it. Now I noticed that the original spark plug I removed had a different part number than the one listed in the car's manual. However, it looked very similar, and based on other sources, the spark plugs I bought are actually the correct ones for my car. Now here you could see the part numbers on the book, and you could also see the gap between the spark plug and the connection. As you see here, the gap should be between 0.24 and 0.028 inches. Now that you've remove the old spark plugs and the coil boots, it's time to apply some spark plug boot grease. You just want to apply it in the ceramic area or where it's white. You don't want to put it in the metallic area. This basically helps protect against moisture, corrosion, and other environmental conditions by creating a barrier between the coil boot and the spark plug. I'm also applying the grease to the ends, edges, and outer portion of the coil boots, just enough to create a sealing effect when I reinstall them into the engine block. So here, this is a spark plug gap tool used to measure the gap between the spark point and the tip. According to my car's manual, the correct gap is between 0.024 and 0.028, and so yep, that's it is. There's a little typo there, but assuming it's a 0.026 tip measurement. And this one measures about 0.026, so it's perfectly in line and ready for install. Now, you want to place the new spark plug into the 5/8 inch socket and carefully lower it down into the combustion chamber, right? Hand tighten it gently to avoid cross threading. And so once you feel tension, use a regular wrench to snug up it and finish tightening it through with the torque wrench set to 18 foot-pounds. Alright, so once all four spark plugs are tightened, carefully insert each coil boot back into the engine. Okay, now insert the T30 screws back into the coil boot and hand tighten them first. And then you want to torque each screw to 71 inch-pounds, which converts to about 5.9 foot-pounds. Alright, so now reconnect the electrical cable to the spark plug coil and lock the purple clip back into place once it's fully inserted. Now the last step is to put the engine mount cap back on. Make sure it clips securely to the engine, and then you reconnect the negative battery terminal to restore power to the car.